I'm at this really exciting place in my YouTube channel's life where watch brands that I genuinely love are starting to reach out and ask if I'd like to get hands-on with one of their watches, which is really exciting. It's amazing. It's a place I never thought I'd be. And when Oris reached out asking if there was any watches I wanted to be hands-on with, I knew straight away. I wanted to see the Oris Aquis New York Harbour limited edition. And there was a lot of reasons I wanted to see this watch. For one, I just had to see this dial in person. And spoiler alert, it's amazing. Secondly, I particularly have a thing for the Aquis. I remember the first time I saw one in person and just being blown away by the detail and the finishing on it. And thirdly, the amount of puns one can make around oysters. It's perfect. That wasn't my best one. That wasn't the one we should have opened with. So Oris is one of those brands that refuses to just sell watches. They partner with nonprofits and conservation organizations to make our world a better place. Whether it's upcycling ocean plastic or whale conservation, the name Oris is becoming synonymous with charity. It feels like they're doing what other watch brands aren't. When the rest are selling us on heritage and what they used to be, Oris is selling us on what they are doing now, not who they were, who they are right now. And that isn't to say Oris doesn't have heritage. They absolutely do. Founded in 1904 by Paul Caton and Georges Christian in the Swiss town of Holstein, they named their company after a local brook, Oris. Within 2 years, they were the largest employer in Holstein, employing 300 people and even building houses and apartments for their staff to attract some of the greatest watchmakers. And they did attract great people. In 1927, Jacques-David Lecout became president of the board of directors. Yeah, that Lecout. They had a thriving business until, you guessed it, the quartz crisis, which is basically like the Black Plague for Swiss watchmakers. But as I said in the beginning, this isn't about their past. It isn't about who they were. This is about what Oris is doing now. So let's talk about this watch. So functionally, this is a standard Aquis. So the case size of 41.5 millimeters, stainless steel, 300 meters water resistance, and inside this watch is the Oris 733 Sellita-based SW200-1 movement, giving you 38 hours of power reserve. I was really surprised by how well this watch wears on my wrist. 41.5 millimeters is usually on the edge of what's too big for me and my lame-o 5.5 inch wrists. I think with that juicy 48mm lug-to-lug, it makes it surprisingly wearable, even for the itty-bitty wrist committee, as Jenny L calls us. I love how Oris treats their stainless steel. Such a unique combination of brushing and polishing. It doesn't feel like any other watch. This limited edition also comes with a bracelet and the rubber strap and strap changing tool. So if you're not into the rubber, you can always swap out for the bracelet. But who doesn't love some rubber? Oh, this is uncomfortable. Specification-wise, this is just like any other 41.5mm Oris Aquis. But it's in the appearance and the aesthetic choices that we see the differences. The first big difference is the dial. This is a green mother-of-pearl dial, which kind of brings us to the point of this watch, conservation. This limited edition is a new collaboration with Billion Oysters Project, a non-profit restoring New York Harbor's oyster population. The project's vision is simple, yet incredibly ambitious: to restore 1 billion oyster to the city's harbor by the year 2035. Oyster colonies clean the water, create ecosystems, and form natural storm barriers. Oyster reefs are to the ocean what trees are to the forest. I don't just naturally know this stuff either. It's written by professional people who actually know this stuff. And you know it's reasonably well written because it's actually made me care. And I'm illiterate, and frankly, I don't give a shit about oysters. Is that too brash? I don't know. But I can't also sit here pretending I've spent my whole life caring about oysters because I haven't. I'm not gonna virtue signal and pretend it's been like a lifelong passion of mine. Because it hasn't. I feel like humans don't have the capacity to care about every issue the same. You know what I mean? I don't know. For those of you who don't know, I work in the church, so my primary fight will always be fighting inequality and elevating the people who have been forgotten about by society. But that's just me. That's forever my fight. That's forever the thing I care about. There are some people who just like, you know, they just really care about the environment. They just really give a shit about oysters. But as I read about this project, as I watched videos like the fantastic one Theo and Harris did about this project, it made even my cold, oyster apathetic heart, my shellfish attitude. That one was slightly better, but it made me care. And this is why Oris is so dang awesome. You not only get a fantastic watch, but you know some money is going towards a project that is making our world better. And how can you complain about that? Okay, I can always find a way to complain. I do have a few tiny nitpicks about this watch. And once again, as always, they're tiny, they're minuscule, but watch collectors complain about tiny, minuscule things. Number one being the strap. I am so picky about bracelets and straps, but the way Oris has sent this to me is with the clasp on the bottom. If that makes sense, let me show you guys. And I know it's just so stupid. I know it's so nitpicky, but my brain can't handle it. My brain doesn't like it. I think I've just grown so used to the clasp being at the top, which would be an easy enough thing to change if I had the tool as well. And my second complaint is that it just can't be a strap monster because of the nature of the integrated bracelet. Fortunately, this one comes with a rubber strap for a bit of versatility and the tool so you can swap it around. But it is still limiting. I really love throwing a dive watch on an Ado, and I think those are really the only negatives I can find. Just a really fantastic watch. If you're interested in getting one of these limited editions, you better scoop one up soon. Oris has only made 2,000 of these, and they retail for a bit more than the standard Aquis. But you are getting the mother of pearl dial, strap options, and supporting a really great cause. Thank you so much, Oris, for letting me get hands-on with this watch. It truly only made me love... Oh, that was upside down. It's because of the buckle clasp. But it truly only made me love the Aquis more than I already did, which I didn't think was possible. I'd love to know any and all of your thoughts in those comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. Hit him with the patron song. Ooh, yes, patrons. These are the Pope tier. The Pope tier patrons. Thank you, patrons. Because of great people like you and your money, which I really appreciate. Your helping to fund this channel and keep it awesome. Thanks to my patrons, when I was sick one day, I was able to take the sick day. It's amazing. Thank you, patrons. You're amazing. If you'd like to be my patron, I think you just look up Brit Pierce on Patreon.